afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my good buddy Jason. How's it going, dude?
Yeah, what's up?
How are you?
I'm not bad, man. You know, are you sure this is the American Sports Connection, the football show? Because it looks like it might be the KO show.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, me either. It's been a long night.
Especially with the snow and everything.
Yeah, I say night like it's night. It's afternoon.
Yeah, it's basically afternoon now.
Yeah, no, it's definitely afternoon. It's 1 o'clock.
Because I always have that habit where, like, if you call somewhere at, like, 11:45 and it's, like, still, they'll be like, good morning. I'm like, oh, crap, yeah, it is.
Yeah, I actually just had to look at the clock and make sure it was afternoon.
That's all good. Been a crazy weekend for games, man.
Yeah, it was I don't know. What are you gonna say? There was a couple things in there that I really expected to happen, but the way some of the games got to where they ended were pretty
Interesting.
Yeah, one of them was a little depressing, but we'll get into that one.
Into it. Before we get rolling, Don't forget to check out our social media stuff: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at ASC Pods. You can find our entire catalog on B Plus Player Radio. Follow them on Twitter at B Plus. If I could talk, at B Plus Radio. Also, real quick, they have a really good sponsor being Audible over there that you can get a 30-day free trial if you use this link. It's audibletrial.com/B+players, which is actually kind of cool with their digital stuff over there at Audible. And one other quick thing, don't forget to check out our sponsors over at Too Sweet Magazine. Look for them on Twitter at 2TOO Sweet Mag. All right.
Now,
good.
Audible is a audio book company, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's what I
and
thought.
They have a lot of other different things, but I mainly know them as like audiobooks.
Yeah, I just remember seeing them through Amazon because they're actually an Amazon company. So
Correct.
That's how I remember. Okay, I was just making sure. Like to know,
Yeah, no, it's all good. We'll get right into it, man. We have the Chiefs winning a playoff game at home for the first time in 25 years, beating the Colts 31-13.
Yeah, advancing to their first AFC Championship game in 25 years as well, since the 93 season.
Yeah, it might have been Montana's last season.
Sounds right to me. The Chiefs were the Colts were never in this game. This game was just it was a blowout. It was almost like remember I was talking to you last night and I said we found out this weekend that some of the teams in these playoffs were contenders and some were pretenders. And the Colts now going up against a real team, a 12-4 team, a monster offense team, showed that they were kind of pretenders, And it even makes the Texans look even more like they were pretenders. Like the regular season can do a lot to build a team up and make them look good. But until you get into this type of playoff football, you really don't know anything about a team. And we found out with the Colts that, don't get me wrong, I think they're still a good team. They still need some stuff added to that team to become a contender. But this weekend game really showed that they weren't ready for what was in front of them.
I was just going to say it showed their warts.
Mm-hmm.
Especially their offensive line, as well as they had looked in the season, as like it went towards the end of the season, they looked terrible.
Yeah, it was it was just a one-sided football game. Like you watched it and you didn't see that Colts team that we had been seeing in weeks past, like against Houston. That Houston and Colts game never felt like the Texans were in it. And it kind of was like the reverse, you know, it was like the flip here where the Colts kind of looked like they just came out and they were overmatched from the start.
Yeah, I agree with that. Rob is saying in our chat, I think it's time to talk an extension for Andy Reid. Didn't he just get one recently?
I'm not sure, so I can't really comment on it. I don't want to say yes and then
Let me Google that. Cuz I swore he did.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the Chiefs, man. I like to see Big Red get him a ring because I like the guy. He signed one in June of 2017.
Okay, yeah. So, see, the big rumors I had heard was that he wanted to not coach anymore. That he wanted to do the front office stuff.
Well, it would make sense because he signed for 5 years. It would make sense with him too because when they signed his extension, they parted ways with Dorsey.
Yeah, I remember that. I do remember that.
Yeah, and so to me, and they actually went to Kansas City together. So to me, that would mean that maybe Reid is getting ready to transition into more power with the team and possibly leaving.
Yeah, like a Mike Holmgren role.
Yeah, leaving the sideline in the future to go to the booth. Well, I would say the booth. I call it like the booth to go to the suite. To go upstairs. Not die. Because when people say go upstairs, but you know what I mean. In reference to football, when someone goes upstairs, it means they're moving into an office. They're not, they're not on the sideline. But Reid.
Go ahead.
I want to see what the Chiefs, because obviously we know who the Chiefs are playing, and it's in the AFC. You go through one team, and that's what the Chiefs have to do now. They have to go through that one team.
Yeah, I agree with that. It'll be very interesting to say the least, but we'll keep it moving here. We have the Rams beating Dallas 30-22.
Oh, one more thing. I don't want to slow us down, but the big shocker in that game to me, the Chiefs game, was Patrick Mahomes had no passing touchdowns.
Yeah,
everything was on the ground. 4 rushing touchdowns for them, all on the ground, all 4 different guys too. But all right, time to move on.
It's cool. The Rams beating the Cowboys at home 30-22.
Yeah, this game, I think we talked about this a little bit, and I said I don't think the score exactly showed the way this game was trending, because the Rams left 2 touchdowns on the field and got field goals. One of them was on a drop that they originally called a touchdown, and then obviously they review every score, which I actually like the fact that that's called a touchdown and they can just look at it right away,
Yep.
I wish those officials in the NFL would call more things a touchdown or a fumble so that they can automatically look at them. But yeah, I did not go into this game thinking that Dallas's defense was going to allow 275 rushing yards.
It was shocking, and
273.
And
I'm sorry.
C.J. Anderson, man, holy cow! I mean, I know I can't talk because I put on some weight, but he looks like a friggin' bowling ball.
We were talking about that the other night. I was like, I don't remember C.J. Anderson being such a heavy-looking guy like he was. Like he looked like he should have been a fullback,
He looked,
but man,
easy.
I guess
easy.
I guess yeah, I'm sorry. I guess he still has his legs, man.
Yeah. That game was solely on the I shouldn't say solely, but more so on the defense.
Yeah, it was. They were over pursuing everything. It was like the Dallas defense would just run the line, and then boom, the runner from whether it was mainly C.J. Anderson, whether it was Anderson or Gurley, they would just bounce it right out the counter right into the hole, and it was like 10, 12, 15. I was like, wow, man. It just did not, like, Dallas's running defense did not look good. And I remember one time you asked me, you were like, why is Sean Lee playing so many snaps over Van Der Esch? And I told you, if you watch Van Der Esch, he over pursued every run play. Like, it was like he was just like,
Too aggressive.
He was hitting like the first hole, and then they would just block down on him, and bam, the runner would have a wide open hole going the other way on the counter, and it like Dallas never adjusted to it. Their defensive line got annihilated by the Rams' offensive line in this game. And if you flip the ball around, flip it over to the other side, the Rams' defensive line put a beating on the Cowboys' offensive line for most of the game because the Cowboys didn't run the ball.
Yeah,
Elliott had 47 yards, 20 carries though. When Elliott gets 20 carries, he's usually over 90 yards easy.
Wow. Chris is saying in the chat that C.J. Anderson's 225. If that's the case, I'm 180.
Yeah, well, see, they don't have a weight on Anderson. You can only see his preseason weight. When you see those measurements, it's only, the first time he stepped on the scale.
The start of camp.
But he is 5'8", so 225. It may be.
He just looks so much bigger than what he was.
He really did. I mean, you go and look at his pictures from who was it with Carolina and stuff. Go look at his stuff from those teams, and then look at him from his pictures from that game on Saturday night, and he looks bigger. But I mean, I don't know, But hey, we'll see.
Rob in our chat saying it looks like Zach Taylor is going to be the new coach of Cincinnati. They're picking him off of the Rams.
Yeah, he's a guy he's one of those guys, remember, that I've been like big on. One of the two young offensive guys from the Rams that I really like, Taylor, and I can't ever remember the other guy's name, but Taylor is a really, really like I like to call him like new minds, because they're younger guys. They're bringing that new system into the NFL. Like, the NFL is turning into a scoring league. There's no way around it. Like, I honestly think that the games are officiated to help scoring along, meaning more pass interference, more penalties on the secondary. They started that stuff, like 3 or 4 years ago, where they implemented the putting more emphasis on pass interference, defensive illegal contact, holding. Well, there's only one illegal contact. It's defensive, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Since we last, speaking of which, since we last did the show, Vic Fangio took the job in Denver.
Yeah, I do not like that hiring, man. That's an Elway, let's stay in 1998 type of hiring. Like, you're not going to win a Super Bowl. Unless your name is Bill Belichick, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with coaching like that anymore, man. You look at it, you look at these teams right now, man. Andy Reid, to me, has always been a forward-thinking head coach. His offense was very current day back in the early 2000s. Oh, man, my throat is like, I'm sorry. I'm like having I'm hitting puberty or something while we're doing the show. That puberty challenge on Facebook is hitting me currently.
Yeah, there you go.
But if you look at Andy Reid, we know a lot about Andy Reid, and he was always like screamed at, like pass. But now in the NFL, when a head coach does it, it's like, yeah, that's the new NFL. Andy Reid probably is sitting like, where the hell were you guys at 15 years ago when I was doing it and getting screamed at?
I'll tell you another thing. You talk about Fangio leaving. I do not like who the Bears hired.
Who did they? I saw it with somebody.
Pagano.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking it was another old school guy. Yeah, I don't mind that. Pagano just isn't going to work as a head coach. He's one of those guys. Like, they have a good defense. I think he was hired for a reason, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, they know that their defense fits him, instead of like bringing in a guy who's going to want to like shuffle. But we'll see.
Yeah, the other one too I forgot. I think was since we last had the show was Adam Gase going to the Jets.
That was a good hire. Yeah, I like Gase. Gase is another one of those new type of guys that I actually think is going to have success somewhere. I don't know if it's going to be in New York. I think, there was a better job out there for him, but there was a couple general managers that don't like him. So that's why, let's be honest, he would have fit the Cleveland and Denver job better. But I don't think those two GMs care for him. I think him and Dorsey, or is it him and Elway, have a history of not being
an adversarial relationship.
Yeah. Hey, I don't want to change the sport or the subject, but Mel Stottlemyre passed away. If you remember, the pitching coach for the Yankees, the old legendary pitching coach, Mel Stottlemyre passed away. But that's off topic. But yeah, I figured I'd throw that out there. I just saw that.
I think Gase will do well just because what he did in Miami with zero quarterback talent.
Well, Tannehill has talent. I mean, I don't want to rip the guy.
I guess I should say compared to what he's going to be able to work with. I think Darnold has more upside, I guess I should say.
I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one, but I'm not a big Sam Darnold fan.
Yeah, like Rob said, he did a good job with a poor team and a lack of talent in Miami.
Yeah, see, I don't agree with that. Like, I think Gase's biggest problem is that he kept their talent off the field a lot of the time, such as Devontae Parker, like the whole surrounding, benching, that whole stuff surrounding that. I don't know. I think Gase is a bit of an asshole at times. Sorry for using the word, but I think that's going to be his problem. Is I think he comes off as a bit of an asshole. That's
Well, hopefully he learned from his mistakes,
Yeah, hopefully, because I think he's a good head coach, and I think he has a future somewhere.
Agreed. All right, next we have the Patriots beating the Chargers 41-28.
Yep, Patriots in their 8th consecutive AFC Championship game. Just think about that. 8 championship games in a row, man. It's unheard of,
Yeah.
This was another game that was never a game. The Patriots just beat them like half to death early. It was a defense that all you heard about was the Chargers defense. The ASAP, any squad, any whatever they were saying. I don't remember how.
And they got run off
it.
the field.
Yeah, they did not look like they had any idea what was going on.
It was amazing to me. I mean, like, if you see this score, it is very misleading.
Yeah, it was a 13-point game. It was a 30-point game. I think we can agree on that. It was a 4-touchdown type of game.
Let me put it this way. I turned this game off to watch the Sixers game.
Me and Candace left. We went out and I got coffee. I went out to get a coffee and we went and got food. So we were gone for about 45 minutes or so, maybe closer to an hour. We left at halftime. I said it's over. I was done. I was nervous too because I wanted to kill some time before the Eagles game. So I wanted to go, do some stuff there, take my mind off of football. Yeah, really anxious. But this was not a game. This was. It was what was I saying earlier about the contenders and the pretenders? This was the contenders and the pretenders right here.
Yeah, because even Romo said it. He said if the Chargers want to prove that they're for real, you're going to get you got to do it today, meaning yesterday, because you're going to get Brady and Belichick's best game.
Yeah, that's what they got. Well, you saw this was like it was one defensive breakdown by the Patriots. The Keenan Allen 43-yard touchdown is it tied it up, right? And then after that,
nothing.
It was like just punch to the face, punch to the face, punch to the face, punch to the face. It was like if this was a professional boxing match, it would have been a second quarter TKO.
Yeah,
because there was no response from the Chargers after what the Patriots did to them in the second quarter.
Yeah, it's really true.
Late fourth quarter response when it was meaningless. But yeah, I do give the Chargers defense credit. They did hold the Patriots off the board out of the end zone in the second half. I guess you got to give them credit for that, but after what they allowed in the first half, that credit is very slim.
Agreed. All right, and last but certainly not least, we have the Saints coming from behind and beating the Eagles 20-14.
Yeah, this was another game where I told you last night, and I don't know if you saw. I don't know if I told you, but I said I give the Saints a lot of credit because to me that first quarter they took the Eagles' best punch.
I was going to say they got punched right in the mouth.
They took a hard hook to the face. And they picked themselves back up, and they played really well, and they ended up winning a football game that a late mistake ended the game abruptly. But the Eagles really had a shot to go down there and have that Foles magic. But, and I saw a lot of people saying, like, oh, the Foles magic died. The Foles magic didn't die. Foles didn't lose that football game. He didn't have the best game. But knowing Nick Foles like we know, he saves his best for last. And the problem with his best for last there is he never really had a chance to, show it because of the missed ball there. I guess you would call it a drop. Yeah.
Something that he does, a million times he makes that catch, and that's just the one time he didn't.
It's just, look, it was time for the Eagles' run to come to an end. That was what it was time for, and it came to an end that way because that's how a lot of times runs end on an unfortunate type of play, and that's what happened. Look, the Eagles made a run. The Eagles should not have been in that game in the fourth quarter because they should be at home. I mean, if you think about it, like. That's something I'm passionate about. Like, I'm very passionate about the Eagles. And if I had to tell you where I thought, if you would have asked me after that Dallas overtime loss where the Eagles were going to be on January 13th, which was yesterday,
sitting home.
I would have said sitting home and watching a team like the Vikings probably playing in that game. What happened? The Eagles ended up getting in, and this happened. They had their shot, man. They couldn't execute much after the first quarter, and that's what killed them. The Saints played well. The Saints rebounded. The Saints are a good football team. And that's why the Saints are moving on to, they're staying at home, but they're moving on to the championship game because they played a better 4 quarters. Like, remember, I messaged you. You were like, oh, that was like a start. And I was like, calm down. We got to play 4 quarters because I knew it was coming, dude. And that's what happened. And Lance said some of the Philly fans are complaining about the refs. Look, there was one really bad call where Malcolm Jenkins got grabbed by the guy on the pick play that ended up turning into a first down for the Saints. That ended up turning into a score for the Saints. That was a bad call. But there was a few other bad calls that went the Eagles' way. Referees did not decide this football game. The Eagles and the Saints decided this football game.
And I'm sure you'll agree with me when I say this. It all turned on the pick that Foles threw.
Yeah, that definitely hurt him. That underthrow where I wish Ertz would have actually made a better effort to get that ball, to knock that ball free. Instead of pulling at the ball, sometimes it's better if you just slap the ball to get it away from the defender.
At the very least, like grab the guy or do something to get him away from the ball.
Take the offensive pass interference.
That's what penalty. I'm saying.
The 10-yard. Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. Take that 10-yard penalty and keep the football, instead of turning around. Because what you do by the interception works like a punt, but it works like the official. I just saw official on the screen, so it works like the crowd gets a big boost out of it. It's not a punt. It works like a punt because the Saints get the ball down inside their 20. But the crowd doesn't know it's like that. The crowd just sees a turnover and they go nuts, and it's a major momentum,
Definitely. I'll tell you a quick thing about this game, because we're local. I was on the way from taking little man to school. I was listening to the radio. Doug Peterson always has an interview on WIP the morning after the game.
Monday morning interview.
So everyone's they're drilling him, and they said, "Well, why did you run a play before the 2-minute warning, or I would have waited or something, they said. And Doug Peterson says, why? They said, what do you mean why? He's like, we had them back on their heels. He's like, if we would have waited until the 2-minute warning, there would have been a TV timeout, and it would have fired up the whole crowd and got it really loud, and that's why I did it.
Bingo. There you go. You had them going. Rob just said he thinks Schwartz will get another coaching gig after next season. I think Schwartz is. I don't think Schwartz wants to be a head coach. He pretty much just pushed all that away this past off season and everything. I think Schwartz is happy where he is. I think he learned that.
And I got to tell you, for all the people that are complaining about him, they need to just stop.
Look, we talked about this, dude. Jim Schwartz took grocery store talent. Cravon LeBlanc, I mean, who the hell is Cravon LeBlanc? Who are some of these guys we had playing for us? They're I don't want to really rip them, but he took these guys. It took him a couple weeks, and he turned them into NFL players. These guys are guys that were getting cut. They were practice squad at best on the Detroit Lions, a team that can't get defense, for shit.
Yeah. I'll say this, and then we'll keep it moving, is if you would have told me they would have held the Saints to 20 points in their house, I would have said they would have won the football game.
Right, I couldn't agree with you more. There's no way around that, man. When you hold the Saints to 20 points in the Superdome, is it the Superdome? Yeah, the Superdome. Yeah. I'm having a Hulk Hogan.
You're having a Hulk Hogan moment.
Yeah, the Superdome. The Silver Dome is in the Detroit. Yeah. It was in Detroit. Yeah, this is what I'm saying, man. What you just said is one of the most rational, intelligent comments that you can say about that game. The Eagles should have won a football game where you hold the Saints to 20 points. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
Especially when you score 14 in the first quarter.
Definitely. All right, real quick, Rob in our chat is saying that Dennis Allen could get another shot as a head coach.
Yeah, I can agree with that. He will get like that, like the Hugh Jackson rebound job, if you know what I mean, where like he probably had he got canned a little too quick and probably should get another shot at it. Yeah, he did a great job as defensive coordinator for the Saints. He's done a great job. He turned that defense around, maybe into a Super Bowl winner now. We'll see. But he did a good job yesterday. I think he probably outcoached the Eagles offensively yesterday. They did a better job.
I definitely agree with that. They were outcoached.
Yeah, well, yeah. I on that side of the ball, I think Schwartz and the Eagles' defense outperformed the Saints' offense for sure.
Yeah. No, offensively, I agree.
Yeah, but Allen deserves another shot. I think he does. Or maybe he could just stay in New Orleans, and maybe he ends up as their head coach because Peyton ain't going to be there. I think a ton of if he wins the Super Bowl, you never know. He might be ready to go.
Hey, maybe him and Breeze go out together.
Exactly. That's a good point. But I agree with what Rob said. Was it? Yeah, it was Rob. I agree that Dennis Allen does deserve another shot at it.
Totally. All right, let's get into the picks. You went from not getting any to being 4-0 this past weekend.
Yeah, I was saving it all for this week.
And I went 2-2.
Yeah. So what are we total now? I think you still have a game on me, right? Because weren't you 3-1?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's you're what? You're 5-3, and I'm 4-4.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
All right, first game next Sunday. We have the Rams going to the Superdome.
Yeah, the Superdome.
Who you got?
Man, this is a rough one, dude. I like the Saints, man. I like the Saints.
I know this is a flip a coin. I'm gonna go with the Rams because they played there earlier this year and lost a very close one. I think maybe if they. I'm curious. This is my main thing. I'm curious to see if they could duplicate the running. Not as many yards as they had, but just like a consistency type thing with Gurley and Anderson.
Yeah, if they do that, they will beat the Saints. If the Eagles could have done that, they would have beat the Saints. The Eagles just couldn't run the ball well yesterday, and we were talking about that in the new feature back. You were saying, and I agree. Here's the thing: the Saints beat the Rams earlier this year in a very good close game. So I think that they may have beaten a better Saints team earlier this year when they beat them, or lost to a better Saints team.
I agree with that.
That being said, I still think that Superdome is going to play a big part. I don't think the Rams know exactly what they're in for when that crowd is just going insane. I don't know if Goff can handle it. I don't know if McVay can coach it because he really hasn't been in that spot yet. On the road in the playoffs because they beat Dallas at home, obviously.
Yeah, where it's basically you win, you're in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going with the Saints because I think experience and home field and playmakers, which I think the Saints, much like the Patriots, could pull a guy out of a movie theater and have him catch 100 yards.
That's a fact.
We'll see. But I'm going with the Saints. Yeah, I like the Saints because of the home field. I think the Saints took their scare like the Eagles did last year, and I think they're going to roll now and go into the Super Bowl.
All right. And last but not least, we have the Patriots traveling to Arrowhead to play the Chiefs.
I like the Patriots. I just can't. I just don't think Andy Reid can outcoach Belichick. I don't.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to like it, but I'm going to agree with you because of the exact same reason you just said. I will take, and this isn't no disrespect to Andy, it's just I will take Bill Belichick over Andy Reid 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I don't think that the Chiefs have any kind of home field advantage because we've seen that they can't. They won a game at home in the playoffs finally. I just don't think Arrowhead is some big home field advantage place for them, especially against a Patriots team that can win anywhere. I will take Belichick 100 times over Reid. We just talked about that. I like Brady over Mahomes. Mahomes has never been in this spot before. Don't think they're going to run the ball as well as they can, or as well as they did against the Colts. They're playing just a better, more well-coached, experienced team. And
they know what it takes.
Rob said he thinks Arrowhead noise will get to the Pats. I totally disagree. I don't think there's any home field advantage there. I just don't think Arrowhead. I think Arrowhead is very overrated when it comes to noise, when it comes to home field. Arrowhead, obviously, prior to that Colts game, Arrowhead has never been a home field advantage for the Chiefs in the playoffs since 1993. So I just don't think it exists. I mean, I could be wrong. I just think we're going to see a Patriots back in the Super Bowl.
That's interesting. Chris just put in the chat. It says, for the first time ever, the top 4 scoring offenses will play on championship weekend.
That's cool.
Yeah, Lance said he's going Pats and Saints.
Yeah, and what Lance said too. The Pats have proven that they're money in the playoffs, and that's part of the reason they've proven that they can. Unless you come up with some major performance, you have to play 4 full quarters against the Patriots in the playoffs. 60 minutes. Sometimes it goes right down to that last second, as the Super Bowl showed last year. You have to play that against the Patriots to beat them. The Patriots are that heavyweight prize fighter where 15 rounds, you got to beat them up. It's like Rocky against Apollo Creed every time you play the Patriots in the playoffs. That's how I look at it. Yeah. And sometimes you don't make it to the bell. Sometimes you lose a decision, and sometimes you knock them out late like the Eagles did. But I don't think the Chiefs have it.
Real quick before we get out of here, here's some breaking football news. Sheldon Rankins, the defensive lineman for the Saints, tore his Achilles yesterday.
Remember I called him? I said him and Brandon Brooks both tore their Achilles, and I got them both right, which I hate because I don't want to see a guy.
My God, I've never seen so many injured players yesterday on that damn turf.
I don't think it's the turf, dude. I honestly, because you watch those games all year, I think it's just a culmination of a long season, and their bodies are just bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, but on that note, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that stuff.
Hey.
And we'll see you back next time.
Enjoyed it 2 out of the last 3 games.
Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, have a good day, everybody.
Later.